Hey everybody, it's me Alex once again, and today, or tonight depending on what time it is for you, we're going to be talking about Nights into Dreams. Now, this isn't going to be the Sega Saturn version, even though I own a copy of the game. I was very, very happy and lucky to get this, and I'll be able to tell you what I think of this version versus this version we're about to talk about. And today we're going to be talking about the PS2 port. So this is considered just the HD port at this point because the Japanese version, is the PS2 version. And we never got that anywhere west side. So, yeah, there you go. Now, anyway, this is where I'm supposed to be scripting. And I hope you guys enjoy the review. And hopefully my microphone will be working a bit better this time. I think the problem was I had my sound was far too low because I would have my headphones on the highest volume for some stupid reason, and I would think it'd be just fine, when in reality it's not for everybody else. So, anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to the game right now.
Nights into Dreams. Such a wonderful gem from the 90s that sadly many people didn't get to play. The major factor was that it came out on the Saturn. Not a good point in Sega's history, though the people who did grow up with it revere it as one of the best Saturn games, and best games in general of all time. Is this true, or is it a small base craving acknowledgement on a dead Sega IP? I can say this definitely fits the bill with those claims of it being a cult classic, and we shall start with the story. It's a short story, simple but effective. The story follows the teenagers Elliot Edwards and Clara Sinclair, who enter NiGHTopia, a dream world where all dreams take place. With the help of knights, an exiled Nightmare, they begin a journey to stop the evil ruler Wise Man from destroying NiGHTopia and consequently the real world. Players control knights flying through Elliot and Clara's dreams to gather enough energy to defeat Wise Man and save NiGHTopia. We will first start with Clarice. So she's having a dream at the beginning about a singing audition, and all seems well, but she starts to get nervous and starts looking at the judges, and they start to laugh or look weird at her, eventually turning into nightmares, as we'll call them. Thus she runs away and into a light, beginning her journey with knights to stop Wise Man. So what about Elliot? He's having a dream of playing basketball with his friends, and is doing great at playing it. But new kids come to the court and beat him, and this terrifies him. And they too turn into nightmares. And he, too, runs into a light as well. Now keep in mind these stories are happening at the exact same time, and each character interacting with knights is a different knights, but look exactly the same. I don't get it, but whatever. The 90s were weird. Now as Claire, you start in Spring Valley, and you need to make 4 laps around the level, and you make your way to a boss if you are ranked at least a C. Then, there's your first boss, a giant snake for this one. It's easy, just dash into its head, then push A again, on Xbox, anyway. Well, actually Saturn too, that does work. And keep breaking its head off until there's nothing left, and he dies in a massive explosion. Yes, every boss dies this way, by the way. The best way. Rinse and repeat that to the end, though some bosses are stupid hard. Not an actual challenge, but more so of a bullshit kind of way. Also, if you don't pass both the stage and the boss with at least a C, you will need to do it all over again. Simple premise, and the same can be said about the gameplay. You fly through stages in a 2D manner, but the main appeal in Nights is acrobatics and making it so fun to cycle around and go through loops, and with a dash button you can really make things crazy, because if you use it all the time you're going to have a hard time navigating it. And as a meter on the bottom left showing you how much you have left, so you can't be using it all the time. The way to keep that up is to just gain more points. Loops, killing enemies, orbs, stars, these are key to getting the best score. Though what you want to do first is gather 20 orbs, find the machine on your path, and destroy it. Now, you'll enter bonus mode, where points are doubled, and you're encouraged to take multiple laps around the level and gain as many points as you can make and get back to the shrine before time runs out. But be careful, because if you run out of time, all of your points will be gone of that run. Not the ones beforehand, those ones are still fine, but this one is completely screwed. And your orbs fly out of you, but you can get them back to gain some points, but you'll most likely receive an F from Knights in the chat. You want to stay above D rank, but at least stay in the B and C range for the 4 laps you take around stage, and each section is different than the last by quite a lot, depending on the stage, of course. The stages and your control make it feel like you're playing a roller coaster, but that's constantly bumpy. But once you memorize the paths, you feel like a damn legend. This is an easy game to play, but very hard to master. Before we move on to the next bit, can I just say how creatively weird these stages look? It's a fisheye lens styled camera, especially on the Saturn, so everything feels like a globe around you, and the other things in the background of certain stages can confuse you thinking they're part of that lap, but they aren't, or it just looks very obscure in general. So how's progression? If this is your first time, I'd start with Claris, who I mentioned earlier. Her first stage is the perfect beginner stage. It's not hard by any means, but not necessarily easy. Just keep an eye on the timer and practice, practice, practice. You will not be amazing at this within the first few minutes. It's going to take maybe an hour or so to truly understand nice controls. Claris' second stage is weirdly very hard. I screwed up here, losing all my stuff, getting an F. It was so bad I ended up restarting. But overall, it's a nice looking level. Good forest and aesthetic, and this level introduces overhead gameplay, which I don't honestly like. It's a bit hard to know where to go with the way the camera works. So yeah, not a big fan. The next boss is a giant fish, which honestly is easier than the first boss. Just lock onto a fish around the whole circular orb area of the water, and then just charge right through the water at him and you're set. You'll hit him, no problem. Super easy stuff. Though sometimes you may get hit from him while swimming through, and I don't know why that happens. I really don't. Next is Soft Museum. And I swear, whoever made this level knew what psychedelics were like, because everything is mushing and melting and morphing. You go into a mirror room where sometimes you're in a reflective mirror, sometimes you don't reflect out of the mirror. It's just one of the most bizarre stages I've ever seen in a video game. It really is. This boss is a pain in the ass. You need to predict where this jester will throw his cards at you, go around them, and charge him. After his cape is gone, don't lose sight of him and keep smashing into him, otherwise he'll get his cape back and will attack again. So just do that and you'll be fine. Now for Claris' final level, and this one is weird. Knight somehow got trapped and you need to save him, but you get knocked away and you are supposed to just jump off of the platform. And with that you can fly, but you can't cycle around things and attract them, but your pull range is increased. Now, I see this as a have fun kind of stage. You get from the start to the finish, you get the 20 orbs, destroy the machine, and get the rest, and after doing all that, you get to free knights, and Elliot comes out to help out of nowhere. Why? I don't know. And you break through and save knights. Now, you and the other knights gotta take care of Wise Man. He's honestly very easy, except this tornado part can go piss off to go to hell. Go to hell with your tornadoes. Anyway, anyone... He made me so mad I read the script wrong, guys. Anyway, smash into him and you'll eventually beat him, and this feels really anticlimactic. No big scene of beating him, just onward to the next plot point. So after beating Wise Men, finally after getting back to the real world, Claris goes to her recital, And while nervous, she uses the power of nights or dreams to impress everyone, and she does a good job, and that ends her story. Now let's move on to Elliot's story and levels. Elliot is a boy who plays basketball with his friends. Seriously, that's all we know about him. Like, all we knew about Clarice is that she wanted to do a recital, so I mean, I can't complain in terms of the lack of context with these characters. So anyway, while playing with his friends and stuff, all these other kids show up and basically say, haha, you suck, and they beat him and he gets scared. They turn into nightmare creatures. He runs into the light, thus beginning his journey with Knights. His level to start with is Splash Garden. I won't go over the gameplay much again, since most of it is the same, but you do turn into a mermaid hybrid on this stage, so that's pretty cool. And it's one of the few times you're going towards the background, like going forward in the stage. The stage is a nice beach aesthetic, and I do enjoy looking at it. Though if these were in modern HD textures, my god, it looks so beautiful. Though the boss I can't say is very good, or hard depending on your timing. You fight a giant ball woman or something and just keep smashing her through the stage until she hits the wall at the end, gets crushed, explodes, and dies. Seriously, what's with this game and exploding enemies? Our next level brings us to Frozen Bell, the snow level, and I will say the snow really fits Knights. Not sure why, it just seems to. This level is pretty hard with tons of things to grab onto and, flinging you around from it, but we have a snow sled section, so that's pretty cool. But, the problem is it's oversensitive and a little jank, like on the Saturn and even in this remaster. The boss of this level sucks though. Probably the worst one alongside the Jester. This thing jumps from mouse to mouse, and you need to blow them up, but you can only see that you can when they have sparkles on them. That's annoying because it can be hard to see that, and why not just make them a different color, or make them flash a different color? Anyway, just keep destroying them, and you'll eventually corner the cat thing, and one hit will kill it, thankfully. The final original stage we have is Stick Canyon. This is probably one of my least favorite stages, if not my least, just from stage design alone. It's just too closing up and claustrophobic in some areas. While it has some cool stuff, like the weird scanner you go in and everything attracts to you, and the weird gay auto section, which, funny enough, I ran out of time, and I was Elliot, sorry. And I gained some from the ride, like points and orbs, and I already had orbs on me from the beginning. So I landed, dropped all my orbs, picked them up, and for some reason had enough score to finish it. I had 7,000-ish points or so. I'm like, where did these come from? I'm fine with it. I'll take it. So I guess I got stupid lucky. It's here you fight Riala, and it's a pretty meh fight. The simplicity gives me Sonic Adventure character battle vibes, to be honest. The next stage is a repeat of the final stage for Clarice, so I won't repeat here the same stuff that I did before. So, again, you get to the end to save Knights, but this time, instead of Elliot coming to help you break open Knights, it's Clarice, so that's kind of cool. So, again, you go in, you fight Wise Man, and he's just as easy as before, minus his stupid freaking tornado. And you beat him, and we get a cutscene of Elliot going to play basketball again against these kids. And he, unsurprisingly, from the power of nights and dreams, I assume, wins easily. Everyone is impressed, and everyone is happy. Hooray! The story ends with Elliot going to Clarice's performance and basically just being there for her. It's kind of a short ending, but that's the ending we have. Unless you include Christmas nights. This little bonus was something put together originally as a promotion for the game on the Saturn. It followed 2 levels given Christmas themes. Like, it's really pretty everywhere, and it looks like Christmas and plays Jingle Bells as its background music. NiGHTS sports a new look too, which I actually like. And there is a story in this. It's super short though. There's Christmas going on in the city, and Elliot and Clarice notice this tree that has no star, so they use NiGHTS to get one. It's a weird story, but again, it's just for marketing the game for the Saturn back then. It's whatever. But this version is not the true Christmas NiGHTS. The true one lies on the Saturn still, with extra content, special dates that give you different looks of the levels. It's weird that they do that. And you can also play as Riala, just for fun, in like 1 or 2 levels. That's it. Only 2 levels actually exist in Christmas NiGHTS. Unless you talk about the extra part where you can play as Sonic into Dreams. You play 1 level as him. It's jank as hell, and it was horrible, but my god, I loved it just for how stupid it was. And he has a boss. It's Eggman. And you spin into him to smash him into a wall, just like the balloon lady, and he freaking dies. He did it, guys. Sonic finally killed Eggman. Well, yeah, that's right. Right? Yeah, okay. Damn, Sonic, I didn't know you were that angry about this. Anyway, one more thing. That's it, right? Nope, one more thing. Saturn NiGHTS mode. This is, from a glance, looks like the Saturn version just emulated. No, this is just a recreation of what it would have looked like. I've played the original, and it plays way faster than this remaster and this Saturn mode. So it's only an illusion. Maybe if Sega didn't toss most of their code away back in the 90s, we could have it. But no, here we are. So anyway, guys, that's my review of NiGHTS into Dreams. Let me know what you think of it down below, and I will see you next time. Farewell.